Welcome to Scorched Earth Tarot. This is a mid-month general reading for the sign of Sagittarius, Sun, Moon and Ascendant. It may or may not be a follow-on from the general monthly video. Use your own discernment and work out if it applies, if it follows on, whatever. And as usual, take what resonates and leave the rest. Okay, so these are going to be significantly shorter than the general monthlies because it's only covering a 2-week period. So, with all that in mind, so 3 cards for Sagittarius, please. Where is Sagittarius right now? There's the first one. Wow. So, we have the 8 of Swords, that's air energy. The Knight of Swords, also air energy. And the 10 of Swords, air energy. Now, look at these cards. Looking a little bit bleak. I mean, this is your energy at the moment, right? Before I go any further, I kind of knew that these cards were going to come out like this anyway, because, before I start recording, I do, I do a short meditation on the energy of the sign that I'm going to do. And I have these little totems that I use for each one. This one's you, Sagittarius, right? Mythical creature that you are. And I just sit with your energy for a little bit and I see what comes through. And what came through really loudly was decompression, right? As I was holding this in my hand, I felt like it sucked in so tight that it almost sucked my hands into it. And this feeling of real, how can I best express it? Of you locking yourself down quite hard at the moment. And you need to decompress because that is painful. That's a painful energy right there, right? Quite different to what it was like for the January monthly videos. So anyway, now I've witted. We've got the 8 of Swords, and the 8 of Swords is a card of feeling trapped. It's feeling stuck by circumstances, potentially, but so being stuck by the contents of your own head, right? Now, in a standard depiction, there's a woman on a beach, and she's bound fairly loosely, and she's got, fairly loose blindfold around her eyes. And she's surrounded by swords, but she is on the beach. Right? There's a bit of water, all around. And if she wriggled a little bit, she could get her arms free, she could take the blindfold off, she could see where the swords were, she could see that the water on the beach is actually just little puddles, and she could navigate her way back around to the castle that's in the background, her sanctuary, whatever. This depiction's a little bit different, see here, because whilst the main parts of the card are still there's a lot of emotion going on here, and it does feel like it's a bit more of a precarious situation because she's balanced on a rock, balanced, and she's very much in the sea, right? There's a lot of emotional stuff going on, and it feels like a much more perilous positioning here than it would be in the Rider-Waite I've got here. And then we've got the Knight of Swords. Now, this is the fastest knight in the deck, right? He doesn't stand still. He rushes. He rushes forward with great speed. And because it's swords, it's words, it's thoughts, it's communication, it's all of these kind of things. And as I'm looking at the cards on the table, this knight is dashing towards this 8 of Swords here, right? This can be overthinking a situation, right? And this knight's running in towards it. This knight wants to communicate. This knight wants to move. This person here in this card is stuck, right? There's a conflicted energy about these 2 cards. Although they're both swords and they're both air energy, they're kind of at odds with each other. And then we've got the 10 of Swords, and this presumably is the same woman, but this time she's laying face down on a rock with all these swords surrounding her here, still surrounding her. Interestingly, she's not speared by any of these swords. Usually it's a person lying flat on her, and the swords are in, right in the vertebrae, right the way up the back. The person's got their face turned towards the dawn because things are always darkest before the dawn, and a new day will always come and it's possible to start again, But this is hitting rock bottom. And as far as I can see, the dawn doesn't yet appear to be anywhere near appearing. It's a card of endings because it's a 10. From the 10 you go back to the ace. But it feels a little bit like, if you just look at how similar the imagery is on those two cards there, there's a definite progression from here to here. And this is you feeling trapped right here. And then there's the end right here. With this conflicting energy moving between the two. This can be betrayal, this can be heartbreak, this can be, things finally being done. It can be hitting rock bottom, and when you hit rock bottom, there is literally only one way to go, and that is up, or you just die, like this person on the card. Nobody wants to do that. But I feel like the conflict comes from being stuck and wanting to move, but feeling like moving will result in this right here. Whether that's your energy or somebody else's, it's difficult to say, but it's a really constricted feeling that I'm getting. It's a really, oppressive energy right there. Sagittarius. Right, so that's where you are right now, and if this resonates with you, then that's good. If not, then this is just not your reading this month, right? So, gonna have a look at now is what's coming towards you for the last 2 weeks of January. So that would be from today, the 15th, when I'm recording this, to the end of the month. But remember that time is fluid, so it could be, days either way, it could possibly be weeks either way. 3 cards for what's coming towards Sagittarius, please. Let's see what that one was before it flew off. Okay, we've got the Star. There's more air energy. There's a lot of mental stuff going on with you at the moment, like Sagittarius. It's all up here. 2 cards. Sagittarius. We've got the King of Cups has come out. But I'm going to show you that the 3 of Swords is flipped. More sword energy, more mental energy. And one more card for what's coming towards Sagittarius, please. That one. The Chariot. It's interesting. That's water. Got 2 water cards there now. The Knight of Wands flipped, and that's your energy right there. So that's good. And a bit of wands in the house, because frankly, all this sword stuff's making me feel very edgy indeed. Right. So we have the Star, which is the card of Aquarius, so it is air energy right there. Then we've got the King of Cups, and that could be a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, potentially, if it was a person, but it doesn't have to be, and it doesn't have to be a man either. And then we've got the Chariot, which is the card of Cancer, right? So, just pull my other deck actually, because I feel like I might need to pull another card or 2 for this. The Star. Card of Aquarius. It's expansive thinking, right? It's very different to this kind of air energy. Aquarius is all about the big picture. It's what's off on the horizon, it's all of these things. So it can come to mean things like faith and trust and hope and wishing, because it's sometimes the wish card. And if you have a look at this woman, she's literally imploring up to the heavens to make a thing happen, right? And there's water on this card, which I like, because water is emotions and there's things like that, There's a decompression implied here, right? Because it's a much lighter energy than what you're sitting in right now. Because this card is about feeling trapped, but it's also about being trapped by your own mind. Right? The circumstance is not quite, well, not in any way being as bad as you think, except that this one, there's more emotion at play. So perhaps your instinct is correct. Just say that. Right. Why is the star here for Sagittarius? Right, we've got the Nine of Swords and the Fool. More fucking sword energy, right? Look. That card sits directly in between these two cards here. It's the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords is about great mental turmoil, right? It can be about depression, it can be about grief, it can be about insomnia, you know, when your mind is really, really full, and fuck me, your mind is full at the moment. I can feel how full it is. Yeah, it's almost like a silent scream going on right there. You know? And I'm drawn to the fact that the swords that are pointing down into this silent scream. There's 5 of them. Right? And 5s are about conflict, they're about change. You know, verbal sparring with people, arguing, all that kind of thing. But maybe this is internal, maybe this is in your head. You know, that's conversations that you're having with yourself. But the other swords, of which there are 4, are in 2 sets of 2. You know, it's about making decisions about things, right? Maybe the weight about the weight of what you're trying to make a decision about is the thing that's piercing your silent scream right there. And then we've got the Fool, right? And that's the first card of the major arcana. And this talks about, it's a beautiful card to have come out underneath the star, actually. It talks about taking a leap of faith. It talks about not knowing where you're going, but trusting that the star you're following up here is going to take you in the right direction. Like, I'm almost certain this card came out for you for the January monthly. It's wanting to make a new start. It's having to make a decision about making a new start, but it's going forward in trust and hope, and there's a real healing energy to that. As I said, like expansive, decompressing. It's really, really good to see. But it's only going to come when you shift this sword's energy that you're sitting in, this 8 of Swords, feeling trapped, feeling restricted, feeling so compressed. You know, it's like a vacuum seal was kind of how I felt my hands go down into this thing. It's like really hard. And there's 10 of Swords here, you know, like endings. Difficulty, mental difficulty with endings. But the possibility of a major new start in a new direction will be very healing for you in that respect. And then the 2 cards that you've got to follow are both water cards, both emotion cards. So we're moving out of the head and into the heart right here, right? The King of Cups, like I said, could be a person, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, man or woman, doesn't matter. The important thing is that this person here is in charge of their own emotions, right? They sit comfortably in their own emotions. Like, look at the water, sort of sloshing around there. There's a lot of emotional stuff going on, but this person sat on a stone throne right there. He's in no danger of being knocked over by his feelings at all. They're just there, just like, I'm a merking or something, like, you know, just, I'm cool, I'm chilling. Yeah. And he's garbed in green, which is the colour of the heart chakra. It's about love. But the most important thing about this is that this king is emotionally available, right? He's open, he's receptive. And these 2 cards together talk about healing something up, to be open, to be receptive. It's a completely different energy to this. And then we've got the Chariot, which, like I said, is the card of Cancer. May or may not be important, but it's also the card of the self. It's about self-determination, self-governance, you know, moving forward victoriously. But what I like about this particular depiction of the Chariot, which is slightly different to the standard, because the standard one's usually got sphinxes on it and stuff like that, which are cool. You know, who doesn't love a good sphinx? Look at those horses. Right? They're in the water. That one on the side looks like it's made of water. And this charioteer has no reins. He's controlling this merely with the power of his mind. You know, we're talking about two characters here, two energies here, that are able to deal with their emotions and not be in any danger of drowning or falling down. You know, it's open. And not only is it open, it's moving forwards in a very determined fashion. Because this is about self-determination, but it's also about inner determination. It's about picking a path and going forwards. We've got the Fool, trusting that everything will be okay, and you're ready to steam forwards. This is the energy that's coming towards you in the last 2 weeks of January. I really like it. I'm going to pull some cards of advice, although I think the meaning is fairly clear. Like, it's not suiting you being up in your head so much, Sagittarius, and thankfully it looks like it's coming to an end, so that's something. 3 cards of advice for Sagittarius, please. 3 cards of advice for Sagittarius. I'm starting to think you weren't getting any advice then. Right. Got the Hanged Man, which is a card of Pisces. Justice, card of Libra. And the Lovers, which is the card of Gemini. Right. This makes all sorts of sense. So the Hangman can be about waiting, right? It can be about submitting and all that kind of thing. But what the whole purpose of hanging upside down in the first place was looking at things from a different perspective. And I think that's what you're being asked to do, right? What will usher in this healing energy, this expansive energy, this receptive energy, rather than being sucked in and really, really tight, but being open to receiving what's coming to you, is this energy right here. Look at things from a slightly different perspective. And we've got Justice, right? So there could be some legal stuff involved. This could be, you know, fucking contracts of some description, you know, court business, anything like that. You know, anything that involves paperwork and you know, notions of right and wrong. That's a possibility. You know, sometimes it can talk about divorce and such like, that sort of thing. But it's a karmic card, right? And it's doing the right thing. It's knowing that this energy is not the right thing, and that this energy absolutely is the right thing for you. You know, Justice has been coming up in literally almost, I think, every reading that I've done for the last 2 months. Right? There's this sense of karmic contracts, karmic debts being paid off, you know, all of these things coming to an end, and there's endings everywhere, absolutely everywhere, because energy is shifting, right? Be aware of it and act with integrity is the thing. And then we've got the Lovers, which, like I said, is a card of Gemini, but it talks about making a choice. And I think that this is kind of pushing you. Do you remember how I said in the 9 of Swords, you know, and this is from the Major Arcana, so it's a smaller energy. It's a more day-to-day energy than the major. 3 fucking majors as advice here, right? When I said those 2 swords, talking about making a decision about something, well, this card's saying, stop fucking around and make the decision right now. Do I want to pull another card for that? I'm not sure. But it's a big decision because it's Major Arcana. You know, this is kind of a life-changing decision. I think maybe pull one more because I'm super nosy and I don't want to pull. I'll pull from this deck, actually. That's what I'll do. Another card for the Lovers, please. Tell me about this choice. Apparently not. We need to talk about this one some more. So, As I'm looking at it, what I'm really drawn to is the angel at the back on the curtain, right? And he looks to me a lot like the angel on the Temperance card, right? But it feels like it's overseen, like whatever decision it is that you need to make, it is being overseen from higher up, you know. And there's also, what I feel quite strongly is that there's no sense here of you making the wrong decision. Like you will make the right decision, right? When you look at things from a new perspective, you'll make the right decision. Yeah. And at the bottom of the deck, right here, we've got the Magician. Like, you are in charge of your own shit. You can do what you want. And feeling trapped is the worst kind of energy for a Sagittarian to sit in. It's awful. Like, I hate it. I'm a Leo, right? But I'm a fixed sign. So it takes quite a lot for me to feel trapped. But this energy, no, it's awful. Look at things from a new perspective and make the right choice for you, right? Because when you do, you'll feel yourself open up. You'll feel some, real sense of liberation and freedom, and that's really important for you. So I'm going to leave it there. If this resonated with you, I'd love it if you'd leave me like a like or a comment or something. If you haven't subscribed, go on, do. That would be awesome. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks for the February monthly readings. Take care.